Seriously, you are in the right place.
Today, we are going to talk about some common lines that you are going to face whether you are in high elo or at low elo. So, the first standard move is d4. Now, we play knight f6. Now, the opponent plays c4. The white pieces are trying to control the center with the move c4 so that our control of the centers become loose and they can get an advantage. So, we play e6. They play knight c3 and we play bishop e4, successfully starting the Nimzo Indian defense. After here, we can play our standard moves to control the e4 square, and you have to always remember that the e4 square is the main goal of our Nimzo Indian setup. We want to acquire and pressurize this square with as much as many pieces as possible. So the white pieces plays a3 to support the center. Now we play castles to get our king to safety. White pieces play bishop d3. Otherwise, when we would have taken the knight, the pawns would have been ruined. So that they play bishop to d2. Now we play b6 to aim the bishop at the long diagonal and also control the e4 square. Now they develop the knight. Now we play bishop to b7. See, we are controlling this long diagonal and this e4 square, which is our main goal, and we should be focused doing that. Now, they try and defend the e4 square much and much more. Now we play d5, aiming to control the e4 square once more time and doing some counterplay too. Now they take the pawn, we take the pawn, they castle. Now we just bring the bishop back to aim it at a long diagonal so that our pieces stay active and can fight back for the advantage. Now they put the rook on the open file so that they can play like minority attack, which is a standard goal of Queen's Gambit. Now we play c5, just targeting the center so we can get some counterplay. Now they take, we take, and the position is equal. Now our main goal has been successfully fulfilled, and you can take care of this position from their own perspective and their own style of play. So let's move on. We are going to see some other lines that will also happen when you play the Nimzo Indian defense. d4, knight f6, c4, a6, knight f3. They want to avoid the standard Nimzo Indian defense so that they can surprise you. So we don't need to be surprised. We play b6 going to the Queen's Indian defense, which is like the Nimzo Indian defense, and we also want to fulfill our goals, which we have already discussed, to control the e4 square. Now they develop the bishop and try to attack us. We play bishop to b7, trying to aim at the long diagonal and control the e4 square. They develop the knight. Now we are at the similar position because we are pinning the knight, and this seems like a ninja. Now they play e3, control it. They are trying to further control the center and support their pawns. Now we take the knight because why to delay it? Because we also want to ruin the pawn structure. They take, and this is a double pawn, which is a disadvantage in the endgame, and this can be a huge weakness. So now we play d6, they play bishop d3, trying to control this square, e4 square. Now we develop the knight so that if they take, we can recapture and maintain our control of e4 at all times. Now they castle. Now we try and kick away the bishop. Now they put their bishop back. Now we attack it again. Now they move their bishop to g3. Now we plant the knight in the center so that we can take some initiative and try to start an attack. Now they attack our knight twice and we play f5 so that if they take our knight, we can recapture with the bishop or even the pawn at some point and gain an advantage. And our one of the goals is to also start an kingside attack and checkmate our opponent. And this bishop will be a key rule of the attack. To the next chapter. Now we are going to talk about some annoying lines that you may face while playing the Nimzo Indian. So we play the Nimzo Indian when they play the Queen's Gambit. So like this, we pin the knight. When they support the center, we castle. They play f3. This is an interesting and a dubious move. This is interesting because it stops our play in the center and our main goal of achieving the e4 square. But at the same time, it weakens the diagonal and another diagonal. So we are going to focus the play on that. So we play c5 here so that we can just punch some of the center. Now they try and kick away the bishop. We take the knight. They recapture. Now we develop our knight. So we are trying to take the initiative. See, our pieces are so much active and developed, while their pieces are passive and staying with the king. So now they take, and these are known as the triple isolated pawns, and these pawns are very weak. So we attack these pawns. They take, we take. Now we have a semi-open file. Now they play this move to try and develop. Now we attack this pawn, which is very weak. They plant the knight in the center. Now we again attack this pawn so that we can win it. Now they are blocking our bishop's view and stopping us from taking that pawn. But we are not a loser. We are going to attack the pawn anyway. So the white pieces are desperately trying to protect this pawn, but we are going to first take the knight. They are going to recapture, and we are going to plant another knight in the center. See, this is a total nightmare for the white pieces. They develop their bishop. We attack the rook. They put the rook in the b file to attack the knight, obviously. Now we are going to take the bishop. They take. Now we are going to give a check. You may be wondering why we didn't take the pawn, because it was free. See, king matters more than the pawn. If we manage to checkmate the king, this pawn is nothing. So we are trying to make the king very weak. After this move, they block and the king is very weak. This is a double attack mainly, and we are going to win one of these pawns and we are going to be happy. So I think that you can handle this position from your own and win some games. Now we are going to talk about Queen C2 line. This is rare line, but you will face it against experienced opponents or if you are in high elo. So we start with d4, knight f6, c4, a6, knight c3 and bishop b4. The start of the Nimzo Indian defense. They play e3, we castle, they play queen c2 and we play c5. This move hopes for counterplay and strikes in the center. They play a3 and try to kick away the bishop. Now you should think about the move which we should play. Yes, and the move is to take the knight, and this is a common repeating pattern in the Nimzo Indian defense. Now they take our knight and we take the pawn. They take our pawn and we strike again in the center. See, we here are hoping to get initiative and advantage by striking in the center. They play knight f3, we play knight c6, and if they take the pawn, we recapture, and here we are better because we have open file, better pieces, and we can also attack this pawn because this pawn is weaker than ours. So if this was an inaccuracy according to the engine, what if they play c5? We jump our knight in the center, they move their queen, now we play what? e5 to take the initiative and strike in the center. They take our pawn, now we attack the king. If they play this, now I'll give you 2 seconds to think about the move. And this is a brilliant one. So the move is to sacrifice the knight. And if they take the knight, what do we have? We have the free rook. So no one will take the knight. If they play this, we have a queen and a knight. The knight forking the queen and the king. So we are winning. So what if we don't do this? After check, there's a simply block. We take the bishop, they take the queen, we take the pawn, and they develop. Now we also develop our bishop. Now they castle, we develop our rook, threatening the pawn. They attack our queen, we move our queen back. They take our pawn, we take their pawn. And this position is very equal, and I believe that you can play from this position. Now we are going to see a game where Nakamura Hikaru played as white and Oniskiri played as black. So the standard moves of Nimzo Indian will play, but as we discussed, knight f3 was played a sideline. So Oniskiri default from our variation and played d5 because he wanted something different. The Nakamura Hikaru played knight c3. Oniskiri played bishop b4, hitting the knight and starting the start of Nimzo Indian Defence. This exactly looks like what we have discussed because the knight is pinned and cannot move right now. Hikaru defends the knight with the bishop. Now Oniskiri castles. Hikaru supports the center with e3. These are common moves which we have seen. We play b6, trying to develop the bishop on the long diagonal. Hikaru takes the pawn because he don't want any of that and wants to shut down the bishop's long diagonal for good. Oniskiri recaptures. Hikaru develops the bishop. Oniskiri puts the bishop on the b7 square. Now Hikaru castles, and like we have seen, Oniskiri puts bishop on the d3 square and improves its diagonal and visibility. Now Hikaru puts the rook on the semi-open file. Now Oniskiri strikes on the center with c5. Now Hikaru plays knight e5 and is ready for some clash. Now Oniskiri plays knight c6, trying to trade that powerful knight. But Nakamura retreats so that when the knight recaptures, he can recapture with the queen. And that's what exactly happened in the game. Now Oniskiri pushed the pawn to make the bishop go away. Bishop stays on the same diagonal because it is most active there. Now Oniskiri comes with the knight back in order to come to g6 so that it can stop the bishop's diagonal. The bishop is attacked by the knight. f4 is played to stop the diagonal and also attack the queen. The queen retreats to e2. Giri plays a6. The bishop is recaptured. Now f3 is played in order to try and play for e5, I guess. Now b5 is played by Oniskiri, forming a pawn chain. Now bishop retreats. The knight goes to g6 and the players repeat after this and agree to a draw by threefold repetition. Now this was the game, and if any mistakes have happened, please forgive me because I am not from America and I cannot speak American fluently. Now please subscribe and consider hitting that like button if you have liked my videos. Thank you.